Welcome back everyone to this lecture on the select where statement. In part 1 we're just going to be learning the basic syntax structure, and then in part 2 we'll actually jump over to pgadmin and code out some examples. So the select and where statements are really the most fundamental SQL statements, and you're going to find yourself using them in almost every SQL query you do. So the where statement allows us to specify conditions on columns for the rows to be returned. The basic syntax would look something like this. We decide on what columns we want back, so we'll say select column 1, column 2, etc. And then we decide what table we want those columns from, and then after that we can describe conditions. So we'll say where, and then some manner of conditions. So let's actually go into detail of what those conditions are like. The where clause appears immediately after that from clause of the select statement. And then the conditions are used to filter the rows returned from the select statement. And PostgreSQL provides a variety of standard operators to construct those conditions. And I want to make it clear that the conditions we show here are available in any major SQL engine, so it's not just unique to PostgreSQL. So we first have the comparison operators, and the comparison operators allow us to compare a column value to something, essentially allowing us to answer questions or queries such as where is the price greater than $3? Or where is the pet's name equal to Sam? So those kind of statements of greater than or equal to or less than, those are the comparison operators. And you're probably familiar with the base syntax operators, at least the operator syntax signs, because they're just basic math. So for example, if we want to check for equality, we just use the equal sign. Then we also have the greater than and less than sign, the greater than and equal to signs, and then even the not equal to. And there's two ways of doing not equal to in PostgreSQL. You can have a less than and greater than sign right next to each other, or the more common way is to do an exclamation mark and then an equal sign. In addition to those, we have the logical operators, and that allows us to combine multiple comparison operators or effect comparison operators. So you're also probably familiar with these ideas of and, or, and not, and they essentially allow you to use multiple comparison operators. So you can do something like condition 1 has to be true and condition 2 has to be true, or condition 1 is true or condition 2 is true. And then you have the not operator, which essentially means the opposite of whatever condition you're specifying. So where this condition is not true. So let's actually walk through the very basic syntax of what this would look like. And we'll do this with the example table we saw before, where we have some names and some color choices. So in order to get back both columns from the table, we could just say something like select the name, choice columns from table. So now let's try to get only the people named David. So there's a condition there where I want the name column to be equal to the string David. So the way I do this is I say select the name column and the choice column from table where name is equal to David. And note here in PostgreSQL we use single quotes in order to denote these strings. And also when we're checking for equality here, the capitalization does matter. Also keep in mind that I selected both the name and the choice column here. I could, if I wanted to, just select the name column from table where name is equal to David, and then I would just get back the entries on the name column. So that's not terribly useful. So keep in mind you're probably going to ask for more than just a column where you're filtering these conditions on, just as asking for name and choice. Let's imagine I wanted to do multiple conditions. So previously I have two Davids here where we have green and red. I can use those logical operators such as the AND keyword to test for multiple conditions. So here I'm grabbing the name and choice column from this table where the name is equal to David and the choice is equal to red, returning back this single row where both those conditions have to be true. Okay, let's go ahead and see you in the next lecture in part 2 where we jump to pgadmin and work through a bunch of examples available to us inside the DVD rental database. I'll see you there.